The very controversial war between Russia and Ukraine has brought some major twists in the war story, and it looks like the billionaire Elon Musk's name has been the hot topic in it. Things have started to get more messy than ever before. Let's see what has happened and what will happen soon. Make sure to watch the video until the end. If you want more such videos, subscribe now. Here we begin. Ukraine has utilized portrayals from privately owned satellites and has leveraged Elon Musk's Starlink network to contradict the Russian attack. Yes, SpaceX is planning to inaugurate a much more powerful rocket, the Falcon Heavy. At this time, the buyer in the US Space Force and the payload is rigidly classified. We all know that these launches come as uncertainties between the United States and Russia are high amid Russia's attack on Ukraine and just days after Russia terrorized to target the commercial satellites, which have substantiated a blessing to Ukraine and its supporters during the war. The SpaceX satellites are going to be used by Ukraine to grab their highest point in this war. But these launches are yet another indication of the Pentagon's boosting dependency on the commercial space sector, which has come to be more competent at the same time that space has become an increasingly contested domain. The coalition was codified in the National Defense Strategy, which was disclosed by the Defense Department earlier this week. And now, as the war is not stopping anytime soon, Ukraine and its Western allies are relying on various commercial corporations from the United States, comprising Planet and Maxar Technologies, which have delivered real-time satellite imagery of the battleground, and Elon Musk's SpaceX, which regulates the Starlink satellite constellation that has furnished internet access, maintaining Ukraine online despite Russian invasions on terrestrial communications networks. Contrary to it, Russia is competent at disrupting satellites and has frequently attempted to smash the Starlink system. However, it has persisted online, and this was informed by US officials. They were jamming the satellites and firing a missile that eradicated a dead satellite in a test, illustrating its capacity to target sensitive spacecraft. So, you can see that Russia is doing everything to make Ukraine suffer, even if it requires the elimination of the SpaceX satellites. Russia has furthermore warned that it's equipped to destroy commercial space networks that are being utilized to assist Ukraine in a veiled warning to Elon Musk, CEO of SpaceX. Over the last year, Mr. Musk's Starlink satellite system has fiddled a significant role in Kiev's defense by awarding them internet access. This prompted excitement from the Kremlin, as a senior official now instructs that such commercial space networks could become legal military targets if they proceed to function with Ukraine. Senior Foreign Ministry official Konstantin Vorontsov advised the United Nations against a worrying trend formulating in space. Speaking at a conference of the UN's Committee over International Security, Mr. Vorontsov said that they would like to specifically stress an extremely dangerous trend beyond the harmless use of the outer space technologies that have become apparent during the recent developments happening in Ukraine. Namely, the utilization of outer space by the United States and its allies of civilians, including infrastructure, commercial, etc., elements in outer space for military purposes. He also said that the states assisting Ukraine did not realize that such actions compose indirect participation in military wars. In addition, quasi-civilian infrastructure may be a legal target for a retaliatory attack. Western actions somehow put the sustainability of peaceful space activities at risk, as well as various social and economic processes on Earth that highly affect the well-being of people, first of all in developing countries. At the very least, this provocative utilization of civilian satellites is questionable under the Outer Space Treaty, which only provides for the peaceful use of outer space and must be strongly condemned by the international community. Mr. Musk and his Starlink satellites can anger Russia the most of all the Western corporations supporting Ukraine, as over the past year, the SpaceX CEO delivered Ukraine more than 10,000 dish antennas since the beginning of Putin's attack. These satellites have been deployed in locations from governmental houses, hospitals, and schools to assist in regulating drones that are utilized to withstand the invading Russian troops. Such if Putin were to ambush SpaceX satellites, it would signal a strong escalation of uncertainty between Russia and the US, as no nation has ever accomplished a missile assault against an enemy satellite. How is Elon Musk involved in helping Ukraine? Let's look at the assistance provided by Elon Musk. Till now, SpaceX has applied around 12,000 Starlink dishes to Ukraine to help maintain the nation online during its conflict with Russia. The system provides high-speed broadband to several nation civilian regions, comprising hospitals, residences, and businesses. Still, it's no secret that the Ukrainian troops have also been utilizing Starlink to send encrypted information and to control drones that can ambush Russian forces. How severe Russia's about assaulting Starlink remains to be seen. But in November, the Kremlin experimented with an anti-satellite missile, eradicating one of the nation's defunct satellites. The consequence resulted in thousands of chunks of debris across Earth's orbit, presenting a threat to anything in their path. In reaction, the US has criticized Russia for the missile test, announcing that the nation was threatening space for all. Since then, SpaceX's Starlink satellites have had to swerve the residue field several times. The US and its allies have already criticized the Russian government for inaugurating a February cyber attack that temporarily took down internet assistance at rival satellite provider Viasat. Russia's ally, China, furthermore has concerns about Starlink. Back in April, an organization of Chinese researchers affiliated with the nation's defense industry instructed China to improve ways to disrupt and destroy Starlink. Well, you can clearly see that Elon Musk has made many enemies. Now, what is Russia planning next? As we expected, Russia will not sit and look at Ukraine and its allies dominating the battlefield. Instead, Russia's agenda paves the way for formal annexation of swaths of Ukraine's territory. If Russia goes along with the referendums and assembles all 4 provinces to Russia, then Ukraine, and potentially its Western supporters too, would from a Russian viewpoint be combating Russia itself. That would put forward the hazard of a direct military catastrophe between Russia and the NATO military alliance, a scenario President Joe Biden said could lead to a third world war because NATO units are replenishing arms and providing intelligence to Ukraine. As such, a rushed Russian motion to formally annex another big piece of Ukrainian territory would be the main escalation just days after potentially the most substantial Russian battlefield setback of the war in northeastern Ukraine. Russia's nuclear doctrine enables the use of such weapons if it's assaulted with nuclear or other weapons of mass destruction, or if the Russian nation confronts an existential danger from conventional missiles. And if nuclear war happens, we both know what will happen next, right? While escalating the risk of catastrophe, Putin could furthermore announce extra steps. Russian stocks fell over the lowest amount in a month on Tuesday as Moscow reignited martial law suspicions with new legislation that expanded penalties for military personnel. Unless Ukraine stopped battling for its lost territory, Russia would have to perpetrate substantial military forces to protect the recently annexed regions, which are not completely under Russian control. Ukraine confessed that the danger of referendums was naive blackmail and indicated that Russia was running frightened. Ukraine says it'll not relax until every Russian fighter is expelled from its territory. Kyiv announced that it would never approve Russian supervision over its province and has called on the West to replenish more and better arms to combat Russian forces. So that's it for today. Do you think Russia will destroy Elon Musk's SpaceX satellites? Do let me know in the comment section below. Make sure to subscribe for more.